It's the wrong touch point, man. What is good, Oak Life familiar? It is Chris and Greg and Chris back at it again with another Roots and Branches. And today, per the title, we got more Rando Convo for you.
Yeah, look, I get crazy when the mic round. No sense of getting hyped now.
So thank you for checking us out. We are here at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock's our like substitute time. Still trying to keep it live at 2 p.m. But sometimes life happens and we just bump it up a little bit. So thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for being appreciative of our change in time. But today, yep, we're having a random conversation. We will be continuing some of the sentiment and the ideas shared this past Sunday from Leslie, who did an amazing job talking about being hidden in plain sight, like cloak of invisibility, invisible jet, Wonder Woman, like all that, I'm not here, Jedi mind trick stuff. So it's good stuff. What are you thinking, Chris?
Nothing. Yeah, Leslie did a great job. And we thought it'd be fun to talk more about hiding and where we go to hide. If you didn't see Sunday, definitely watch it. But it was, her reflection was around how Jesus would like hide himself from the craziness, the chaos, the demands of the people to recharge, to connect to God, all that stuff. And she was talking about how she used to hide at different spots growing up, like where in her boat that she grew up on, she'd hide as like self-care, as self-protection, and not just to go hide to get away from it all, but to go back out and be strong. And after having recharged, rejuvenated, going back and joining the work of reconciliation, which is what my man Greg, I tried to find another R there.
Dude, they kept coming, man. The R's kept coming. I was like, I got to slow down, dude. This is going to go too far.
It's funny. It's good. So all right, where do you hide in a self-care, self-protection? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you do that? What does it look like for you?
Yo, hidden in plain sight, man. I just go for a walk. If I'm ever feeling too much stuff, I go for a walk. So right now it's I don't even know what area it is. I guess I'm in like Laurel Diamond District area, and the houses up there, like north of the 580. The further north you go, the more incline, and with that, just the more quiet and calm it is. So for me, if I need to kind of get away, just go for a walk. And I'm trying to make that a routine. I don't go daily. I go probably on average once every 3 days. And it's nice, man, just to kind of hear some quietness, see some people, but they don't know me. They don't know me from a can of paint. So it's not like they see me, right? And in doing that, it's kind of twofold. There's some science that walking, the motion of moving forward, it does something up here that combats thoughts and feelings of depression. Some research states that when you walk, not only are you moving forward, but your eyes are scanning the environment in that kind of left and right pattern that your eyes do also help combat depression and increase like just cognitive function. And so, yeah, it's a twofold. I get to get away and I help my brain out. So it's fun.
Good. Yeah. What's crazy is you're describing the modality EMDR, eye movement, something reprocessing, desensitization, which I learned a lot about after what happened to us in the Zoom bombing stuff this summer. Yep. Because it's your brain it's processing and putting things in the long-term memory bank versus the reactive short-term, like part of your brain. But yep, that's cool.
What about you?
What's funny, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about times in my life where like I couldn't hide. When I was in my early 20s, I was a youth pastor at a big church. And I knew I had been there for like a long time, and I knew everybody, and like I just knew a ton of people. And more people knew me than I knew them because of the nature of that work. I was like on a stage, and there's no way I could know like the 1,500 people who were out there.
Mega church pastor, leather jacket, glasses.
Thankfully, I wasn't out there that often. It was mostly the kids, like I knew all the kids in our youth program. But it'd be weird because I remember one time I was at a Safeway and I was having some friends over, and I'm like 23 maybe, and we're gonna like watch a movie or watch a game or something. I was buying a bunch of beer, and so I was in a Safeway like grocery store aisle with like just like it was just filled with alcohol. And one of the moms like of the youth kit like of the program comes up and is like, "Oh, hi Chris, how you doing? You know, we're so happy that you're mentoring our kid and talking about God." And I'm like, "Oh crap, don't look down." And so I say out to say, I remember the feeling of not being able to hide. Like it felt, it's weird to even talk about because it was like it's picturing being somewhat known in a smaller city where there's only a few different public places. Like I go to the movie theater, the Regal, right, where everybody goes and hangs out on like a Friday night, and like I'd see a bunch of the students, or I'd see parents or somebody, which is cool. In the end, like I really loved all those people, and there's a lot of positives to that season of my life. But so now, or in that time, I would have to like go somewhere where I knew I wouldn't see anybody, and I'd try to like intentionally hide. Or like so, I'd go to a concert or something by myself, which is super fun. I never used to think that like going to a movie by yourself would be cool, but for a hot minute, there was this thing called Moviepass. Do you remember Moviepass?
Oh, that's right.
It totally went under because it was a terrible business model. Basically, like you pay $10 a month and get to go to unlimited movies. It's like, how is this possible? But anytime I had a free hour or two, I'd just like go by myself and sit among people. So I bring all this up to say one of the places I like to hide, maybe pre-pandemic, is like among people. Like it's nice to be like around people, but not have any obligation or responsibility, but just to be there. And that might be specific to like the job that I've done for my pretty much my entire adult life, where usually when I'm around people, it's at church and I'm working.
Yeah.
And so there's like a sense of joyful responsibility to like care for the people on a Sunday service. So I don't know. There's lots of places I like to hide. Definitely nature. You mentioned like getting out and going on a walk, going on a jog, like or on a trail is so fun. Disconnecting from it all. Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think is the difference between healthy hiding and Moviepass? When Moviepass is a throwback, we're getting old. Things that are like not that old are definitely throwbacks now. Like yeah.
Dude, it's only a throwback because of the pandemic. I know that the business model was bad, but like, you got to think that the movie industry was becoming a bad business model with all the streaming. So MoviePass was a good effort, and then who's gonna do MoviePass now? Like totally. You can't go to the movies anymore. But anyway,
yeah, going to movies by yourself. You ever gone to a movie by yourself?
I did, and you know what? I was at a place in my life where I had the ability to do that. But so I tried it because everyone was talking about, oh, you should treat yourself and love yourself and go da 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 da. I did, and it was boring. Like I went to a movie and I had dinner and I ate by myself, and I was like, go me, I'm doing this by myself. And then I was like, yeah, it's also boring though. So as you were talking, I'm thinking if I'm by myself, I want to do things. I like to consume things with others, but if I'm by myself, I like to do the things. So let me be by myself at the gym, or by myself on a walk, or by myself, playing the guitar or whatever. Like if I'm by myself, for some reason, I want to be doing something. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, but if I'm going to consume something like entertainment or food or whatever the case is, I want to do that with somebody if possible.
Yeah, that's good. I think there's some truth to that. I just enjoy like the art of it. So I would always pick a movie that like my wife's not going to want to go see this movie, so I'm going to go see it by myself and really enjoy it. It's funny. We got Ant saying bringing up Moviepass too, and so we get the two folks commenting, Matt and Ant, both are photographers as like hobbies, and like I've like talked to both of you guys about you'll go someplace by yourself and do photography. It's like you talk about hiding in plain sight. You're noticing and being present to what's there, but like you're alone. You're hidden there too. as like an observer. And actually that's a great image for, I think, healthy hiding. Like Matt will wake up like at 5 a.m. to go shoot a sunset. Like we'll sneak onto some government property to capture the Golden Gate Bridge before anybody. Like, so, and Anth has gone to concerts and like has gotten some really great work in community places and people, and even snapping photos of some of your figures too. Like,
Oh
that's
yeah,
a cool,
so cool.
it's like you're hiding. It's interesting because photography is both hiding and observing. Like there's kind of like a paradox of like,
And revealing what's
revealing.
hidden
That's
in plain
probably
sight.
yeah. That's probably the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Revealing and hiding at the same time.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's very cool. There's another R word for you. So we're out
Revealing. This is so revealing. All right.
no,
how would
good.
you describe the difference between healthy hiding and unhealthy hiding? Is there a difference?
Yeah, Matt, we're putting your business on blast, man, because we support. That's what we do. We support family. Your family get this support, sir. So I think the answer is the same with a lot of questions. It's the motivation, right? As you stated earlier, if the hiding is to rejuvenate, to recover, to replenish, so that you can go back out, chances are 9 out of 10 probably healthy. If the hiding is out of fear, what were you gonna say?
You finish. I'll ask.
If the hiding is out of fear, shame, worry, or whatever the case is, and it's this like indefinite, like deer in headlights, I'm just stuck here and gravity is winning. I don't know if that's healthy.
So how do you know the difference when you're in it? Like if you're like, man, I'm beat down, and you just have this impulse to just play video games for a few hours. That could be really healthy hiding, like disconnecting your brain from all that stuff. Or it could be an escape that is unhealthy. How do you figure out when it's like helping you or not? Mm-hmm. So I get like you're looking at the big picture of like, if it's to go back out, but often in the moment, you don't know, you're not hiding with the purpose of like going back out. You're just kind of like, I gotta retreat for a little bit. Got any thoughts there?
That's good, man. I don't think there is a one answer to that. I feel like we've had this kind of conversation. Like people know when what they're doing is unhealthy. Like you know the difference between biting into, like a cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. or biting into like, broccoli and vegetables. Like, the difference, right? You know how it's feeding and impacting your soul. You bring up video games, that's perfect. Because I play video games both in a healthy way and an unhealthy way. And I know the difference. I think we have to be intentional at trying to see big picture. Because if you just look at the moment, like, see, that's how it gets you, right? When you are convincing yourself, oh, it's just a bite. It's just for a little bit. That's true. But if your focus is just on that little bit and it doesn't kind of say, oh yeah, well, I have done all of these things and I have kind of earned this thing. Maybe that's one potential answer is this kind of retreat, there's another R word, is that like a form of, I've earned this thing because I'm beat. I kicked butt today, or I got my butt kicked today, right? And like this is necessary versus I just don't feel like it today. I give up today. And sometimes those are even like necessary, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on my thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of wisdom there. And it just takes the self-reflection of trying to like, where is this going to take me? Is this good? And you may not know that at the beginning, and maybe it's like you're an hour into the hiding thing that you're doing, and then you start to like, so it's that constant like re-asking, reconsidering, reflecting, like as you're doing it. But the fact that like there is some permission to go hide, like it's a part of the pattern, like the ebbs and flows. Like you got to go hide sometimes, and especially in comparison to like our world that wants to like get all the attention and not be hidden. Like everything external. So like, you got to go be obscure sometimes, and that's like healthy for our soul, and need it as self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a question for anybody who's watching, if Ant or Matt or anybody else out there, and you too, Greg, have you ever felt hidden? Like the world has hidden you? Like, that I don't like it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that question make sense to me? Like,
I'll give you an example. You tell me if it's
okay.
right. But before I answer that, would you say that our need to go hide and rest is something that should have a rhythm and be repetitive? I'm just trying to think of more R words, but anyway. To answer your question, the first thing that comes to my mind, I remember very vividly. We had this reoccurring tradition of going to visit my family for New Year's, and we would celebrate with the fam in LA. And I was the oldest of my cousins, my younger cousins, and I was not old enough to hang out with my older cousins. And then obviously my aunts and uncles are way older. So I was like the only one in my age group. So I couldn't like play with anybody. So I had no space because the adults were, turning up. The young adults were, just talking about young adult stuff. The kids were running around. So I just went outside and sat on the curb and just watched people walk by. It was like societally, if no one's watching you, you are forced into hiding. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. And I wonder how many people, how frequent that is. Like, and that's where feeling seen is so important. Like for just our health, I think it's like a deep soul longing to like be seen, to be known. And I think art does it sometimes. That's why representation in art is so important. Like if you've never seen somebody on the screen or whatever that like reflects your story or looks like you or something, like a lot of people will feel unseen. I remember the story. So there's somebody in our church who has a kid who watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's like, oh, he's got hair like me. Like, what a cool moment of feeling seen, right? Not hidden. So to think about people being hidden is interesting too. But I have those family stories as well. Like I was the one amongst my cousins, I was the one boy. So all the girls just like did their thing. And for whatever reason, my grandma bought all these like girl toys, which I know those are like not necessarily accurate categories and there's stuff to unpack there, but at least functionally in that point in my life, there was like a bunch of stuff that I didn't find compelling and that all the girls did. So I just like sat there.
Yeah.
And the adults are getting turned up. It'd be interesting to hear what the difference between my aunts and uncles getting turned up was like, and your aunts and uncles. What
it was
they
New
do?
Year's, and so there was for sure alcohol. And then I had this one, like, he was the MC, R.I.P. Uncle Raul, and he would sing. He and his wife would sing, and then they would dance. Cool. And like when I entered into young adult age, I cut a rug here or there in my day, so I was part of the fun. But before I got to that point, it was just drinking and dancing and laughing and singing, and that was them turning up for sure every year.
Yep, that's fun.
What about you?
They just drink. Basically, it's like drink and argue politics or something.
I was gonna say, and drink and debate, huh?
And then it just gets inherited.
You get it honest, bro.
Let's yeah, it's good. And it sounds like he's got some good family stories. That's what's up.
Yeah,
yeah. Those are fun to think about. Kid dynamics amongst parties, like with your family, whatever the family looks like, because it might be like the people, your neighbors that you have over that you are consistent with. Yeah, it's good.
That's interesting. It's a good callback to Leslie's point that this idea of hiding. She referenced being a kid. I think it's easier for kids to get looked over. So it might be easier for kids to hide. And I think it's also easier to hide in our imagination as kids. the artists of today, like Anth and Matt, when you have that artistry, you can hide within that. But I think it's just harder for adults in general to hide intentionally without being forced into hiding, because there's plenty of adults who are like forced into hiding. And that's an interesting thought. Oh, what? Oh, go ahead.
Good morning in Indonesia. What part of Indonesia you're hanging with us from? That's awesome.
Double
Welcome.
glasses in the main pick too. That's what's up.
Yeah. So this idea of hiding, the different aspects of it, self-care, but then also the negative things where like people are forced into hiding or overlooked. Like if that's something I think everyone goes through to certain degrees, how important is it then to like see people, like to actually see them, like, and honor them and hold space for them and listen to them and like recognize their story, their pain, their struggles, and how like healing is it for people when we can offer that to each other? Because I bet everyone is longing for that. Like part of my job is like to listen a lot of times, like as pastors, ministry people, like it's a gift to like listen to people's stories, and especially if they feel comfortable sharing them with us. But sometimes like I'm like, oh man, I need a space for people to just hear my story too. Like I have that longing as much as I can see that it's so like profoundly healing for people. We all just need that. So like how much does that invite us to really, really, really see people and hear people? And actually I'm all over the place today, sorry, but to Matthew and Anth, like part of the gift of like you all offer people is the gift of seeing them, like revealing their story, they're capturing a moment for them. What a gift as photographers. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I was thinking of the a story about the woman with the intense bleeding in Scripture, who touches Jesus's cloak and is healed. I was talking with my professor, and she was saying how the healing that she got physically was one aspect of healing, but Jesus recognizing her and conversing with her, a person who society had forced into hiding, was a whole different gift. He gave her the gift of recognition. There's another R word. He saw her, and in doing so, forced everyone to see her and to recognize her personhood, her individuality, and her relevancy in the society. And to your point, that's a gift. Like oftentimes, like if we see an individual who is houseless and we don't have anything to offer, we tend to like turn our gaze and if I don't see them, then they're not there. And even when you can't offer anything monetarily, like having the ability to just wave, that's something that Andy is like gifted at. She makes sure to acknowledge, wave, smile, say hi, even ask how you're doing if the opportunity presents itself, just to see people. That is a gift we can give freely, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. How about the flip side to that? Also, like, so that where we started the conversation was wanting to be hidden, like so to not be seen. So there's all the paradox of like the gift of being seen, the gift of hiding, and the rhythm of that. Like there are times and places for both. And have you ever not wanted to be seen? Like someone's like putting you on the spotlight, like seeing a piece of who you are or something. And you're like, I don't actually want this right now. I don't want to be seen.
I mean, nothing really comes to mind, because I've grown so accustomed to just rolling with the punches. And if someone says, "Hey, Greg, do something," I'm like, "All right, well, let's do something," right? But I'm sure it's happened. Like despite popular belief or whatever, I don't like being in the spotlight. I'd rather be behind the scenes, but it's just more fun there. I think there's more creativity there. There's less criticism and whatnot. But I just go with the flow. I just do whatever. But that's a good question. So ping pong, right back at you. Is there a time when you was put on blast and it wasn't in a safe way with a cart full of alcohol?
Yeah, sometimes. Well, so that's I guess the reason I was bringing that up was like being seen requires some permission, like some letting you in, and that also on the seer's side requires some reverence, like another R word, like to see people, it can't be done haphazard. It's like you're playing with fire. Like if you're going to see people for who they are, it's a vulnerable thing to be seen. And so, yeah. And so hiding is a part of that too. Like there's parts of ourselves that we hide, except around places and people that are trusted or are safe. So yeah, every so often there's been some people who really like to pry, ask some questions like, I don't know what to, if I wanted to talk about that. Like, I'm not trying to be dishonest, but we'd probably think of a couple people in our church who really, really love asking uncomfortable questions. Like, how much do you make? Which I don't actually don't mind. I think it's a great
you
question.
love to talk about, by the way.
In church, we should talk about. We shouldn't hide that stuff.
Yeah,
shouldn't hide our budgets.
It's interesting.
Pretty
You bring up the role of the seer. I know so many people that. Let me rephrase that. I remember so many circumstances where an individual really, really wanted to be seen, and then a person sees them and like, yeah, but not by you. I want to be seen by somebody else. And or they want to be in hiding, but it's only hiding from a certain group of people or a certain person. The dynamics, as my man said, yes, and it has layers. The scene, the hiddenness, the representation. I mean, there's layers of this, man. There's layers of this. So
it's true.
See, I got you, fam.
Yeah. Oh man, I had a really good thought after you said that, and then you brought up the comment. I got distracted by Matt's photography.
Must have not been that good of a thought. No, I'm playing.
It was gonna save us all. Like we were all. It was salvation. That thought was salvation. It was going to change everything. Oh, I remember now. So we did last week. We gave out some coffee mugs. Like we did the joke, like the scavenger hunt. There was no scavenger hunt. It was just like meet us at the lake at this time, and you get a free Oak Life coffee mug just to say what's up. And I'll probably do it again.
It was good.
But a couple people came through, and some people I hadn't seen in a long time, like over a year, and like. You know, where Oak Life as a church, there's like some people who are pretty visible, like, and they've been around. And there's some people who are kind of on the like periphery, or like they hang around, but they're more like, I don't know, they're not as engaged, or like, and that's cool. However you want to engage in the community is totally cool. But I realized that like, oh man, this whole year, so much of our lives has been hidden from each other. And when we start coming out of this, finding ways to see each other and see the last year, like, and hold it and honor it and have space for that is going to be really important. Because I was talking with this person, who's like, yeah, they've lost their job. Like, it's been a really rough year. They're surviving. They're making the best of it. They've had some COVID run-ins, some scares with family members and health. And it's like, I described it to somebody the other day, like, it's like we've lived through like 12 9/11s, like, one every month, basically.
Yeah.
But ongoing. And so it's like, where were you when the fires were happening? What was that? Where were you then?
Yeah.
And all the mechanisms for seeing each other that we used to have, or at least a lot of them, aren't there in the same way. Like going out to lunch after church on Sunday and just talking, having a sandwich, or whatever, and sharing some of that stuff, seeing each other's stories. So coming out of this kind of forced hiding that we're in will be interesting. When that happens, not if, but when. And I don't think we're quite there yet, but in the meantime, how do we do that? How do we see each other? How do we have self-care, hiding, all that? It's good.
Well, I just want everyone to know that when they see me again, just expect very stretchy clothing, because your boy was in hiding, and it's gonna be a lot harder for me to hide.
I will tell you, Greg, you were not alone in that hiding. I was there with you.
You know, I also still lift heavy things, so don't come at me crazy, because I can pick people up really quick. But yeah, we rambled on for a little bit. We probably want to turn down this combo, but this is some good stuff, man. The whole forced hiding of the pandemic, and then what happens in that hiding. Like, I know Andy has rekindled some relationships because of this forced existence on social media, and even like developed relationships with people that she hasn't even met yet, like in person, that we would have met in person had we still been in person, but because of the social media, we are able to, stay connected. So there's weird things that happen in hiding that are beneficial, which is the whole main point of this past Sunday and this week. So yeah, good stuff, good reflection.
Good
Any
remembering.
closing thoughts, man,
of the
before we
R
dip
words.
out of here?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Not that we need to tie it up in a bow, but covered healthy, unhealthy hiding, like what's good and bad. Not even that's the way to put it. What's wise and what brings you towards wholeness versus what might be in the way of that. Seeing people, the gift of seeing people and letting people see you. Some tension around that, and forced hiding and coming out of this all. And that we both have more pronounced dad bods than before.
There you go. There you go. Gotta love the dad bod, man. Well, I guess that's it, man.
Yep. And Matt, Cheryl, nice to meet you over Facebook through this thing. Anybody else who's watching?
Yep. And if you're watching later, we look at the comments. We want to hear what you want to talk about. We want to talk about it. So continue to live, love, fight, and follow, fam. And we will catch you next time.
I like to.